So I just made a video on my Body Language Guy channel about Marjorie Taylor Greene's interview in 60 Minutes and how she, well, let's say, it seems to not understand how politics at a global scale works. And I found that disingenuous. Maybe you're coming here because you watch my analysis. So welcome to the Power Pundit. This is my channel on American politics. And well, pretty much it's going to be open to more politics as well. So make sure to subscribe and hit that like button and hit the bell as well so you get all my political rambling. But I played two clips here where the main ones that I wanted to talk about that were about, let's say, some opinions of MTG that I don't agree.
I'm playing in caps, and then he called you a traitor. So he hit you, whacked you.
Yes, he did this in the same time span where President Trump brought in the al-Qaeda leader that was wanted by the U.S. government, who is now the president of Syria. Then within a week, he brought in the Crown Prince, MBS, who murdered an American journalist. And then he brought in the newly elected Democrat Socialist mayor of New York. That was the time span that he called me a traitor.
So the main topic of this interview was Trump calling Marjorie Taylor Greene a traitor. And she was trying to defend herself in the sense that, oh, it's not fair that he called me a traitor when he invited all these bad actors to the White House. And again, this is disingenuous. I don't know if I don't think, or I don't want to think that Taylor Greene is dumb, but you could imagine that if you are the president of the United States, you have to deal not only with what happens in your house, which was the analogy that I was using in that video, but what happens in your, maybe in your apartment building or your street or even your city, because, well, you're affected. Not only you could spend most of your time maybe at your home, all right, maybe you can even work from home. That would be awesome. But you have to deal with neighbors. You have to deal with the people who live around you. You have to deal with the people who attend the school, who your kids attend. That's a thing. That's you cannot avoid that. And at a global scale, that is the exact same thing. That's what's the problem is with Venezuela right now. I have explained that on a couple of videos. What is Trump's problem with Venezuela? What is America's problem with Venezuela? It's something that's of a systemic problem in which you have these bad actors on your street that, well, you want to, let's say that you want to clean up. So again, when she mentions that how can he invite, for example, Mohammed bin Salman, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, to the White House? Well, because Mohammed bin Salman is pretty much the ruler of a country, and you exchange and you do business and you do things with other countries as president. Is that right? Right? That last time I checked, that's what a president does, right? Because that is one of the most critical parts, because you are not isolated, and that's the misleading thing that I see. I don't understand why so many get this wrong. The America first. I can understand. You don't want to send money to other countries. I think it's great that USAID was completely dismantled, and all that sending money to other countries for nonsense, all that was eradicated. I praise all that. But one thing that is very different is that you wanted to do business with the whole world. And in fact, I always said that Donald Trump is a businessman first. And since he wants to do business with all the world, he needs the world to be in peace. And the world to be in peace is not an easy task, because everybody at some point, too many people are at each other's throats. There's Cambodia and which other country was it? I forgot. There's another war sparking right now as we speak. and the Russia-Ukraine war. It seems that Zelensky hasn't read the fine print of the document or hasn't read the document that he was sent. It's just crazy, right? But what Trump wants is to do business with everybody, because this is a systemic problem. Being the leader of a country is a systemic problem, which is not only a domestic issue, but also a international issue. You have to deal with the stuff overseas. And that's why I don't understand why she says things like this.
He went after his, I think you said, trying to entangle us in foreign wars. You said Air Force One should be parked, no more foreign trips.
Air Force One should be parked, no more foreign trips.
For an America First president, the number one focus should have been domestic policy, and it wasn't. And so, of course, I was critical, because those were my campaign promises. Once we fix everything here, then fine, we'll.
I mean, this is the moment that I ask the question, is she trolling or just stupid? Because I can imagine somebody that doesn't understand how the mechanics of the world, how the economy of the world affects the well-being of your country. If you don't deal with what is happening outside of the world as well, and I don't think that Trump wants more foreign wars, doesn't want to go to war with anybody, and I've told you that no, Venezuela is not going to be a war. He has been pushing for peace everywhere precisely because he wants to do business with everybody. So I think this is a very short-sighted, again, proof that maybe she is dumb after all. I mean, I've seen some really bad takes from so many politicians. I really want to give her the benefit of the doubt. But in so many instances, well, I don't know. Of course, there's also the topic of Israel. We need to talk about Israel, and she has no problem talking about that.
Why did you vote against the Anti-Semitism Awareness Act?
Since I've been a member of Congress, we've had several resolutions that constantly denounce anti-Semitism. I've already voted denouncing anti-Semitism many times before. It becomes an exercise that they force on Congress, and I simply got tired of it.
Is there no value in having the United States Congress reaffirm the fact that they denounce anti-Semitism in the face of a growing issue, a growing problem?
We don't have to get on our knees and say it over and over again.
Notice the kind of imagery that she uses. We don't have to get on our knees. Nobody's getting on their knees to denounce anti-Semitism. That is a way of picturing the things like as if it's dramatic or something. I mean, I've said this before, and again, this is going to maybe ruffle some feathers on a lot of people who watch me, but the reality is that Israel is an ally in the Middle East of the United States, and one of the, if not the only, true democracy in there, and to have any sort of influence in the Middle East. And you know that you don't want any troubles in the Middle East, and how those troubles can affect the United States, then yes, you want Israel as an ally and cooperate together. Again, this is maybe not what you want to hear. You want to say, oh, we don't want anything to do with anybody in the world. It's not Israel. It's even Matt Walsh says that. Like, stop everything with every other country. And for so many good takes from Matt Walsh, again, it's like he fails to understand how the whole system works. And I understand you don't want to be a system. Maybe you're watching me, 75% of my audience in this channel is American. Maybe you don't want a system to be in place. You only want this to be about the United States. But again, the analogy stands. You need to know what is happening in your street. You need to know what is happening with your neighbors, because you don't want, the house at the end of the street housing Hezbollah or Hamas or drug traffickers, which is what's happening in Venezuela, and I already explained that. And no, it's not that simple. because bad actors, we know that can come from anywhere. China is on the other side of the world. And yes, it's a bit complicated. It's just I sometimes I don't understand how this works. As in, Trump is now pushing for being able to sign a bill to being able to sell old quote unquote chips or AI chips to China, which I don't understand. Wasn't the United States like in this race to defeat China in artificial intelligence, and you're going to sell China chips even if they are 18 months old, which is like ancient history in AI chips, let's say lexicon. I don't know. I will find more about that. But the fact is that the reality still stands. You need to think about the world as a system. You need to talk about your country as part of a system. That's why I was so invested in Donald Trump becoming the 47th president of the United States, because I knew that was going to affect the world, the entire world. That was a given. So again, this could be something that we can debate. Maybe you are staunch and oh no, I don't want anything to do with any country. But again, I would disagree, because that is something that is necessary, not because of Venezuela, not because of Israel, not because of Saudi Arabia or El Salvador or I don't know, Germany or Japan. It's all at the same time. It's all at the same time, and that's how the game is played. But let me know what you think about this in the comments. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the Power Pundit. Much love and bliss.